before the court.
Okay.
Are you ready with?
Okay, now easiest, if you can, just, what's your name?
My name's Isabel Loya. I'm the sister of Jose Velasco.
And, I mean, talk to me real quick, you know, you saw him today in court. How did that make you feel?
I'm sad that he's still not home or getting the proper care that he needs, you know. He calls us and tells us that he's supposed to, he's supposed to be getting help. He's not getting help, and they're seeing different psychiatrists, repeating himself. It's not helping him being behind bars. I feel that the charges against him are bogus. They have 30 days to file the charges. Yes, the Department of Justice was here. Why did they wait till after? Because they didn't want us to speak about the charges that are unfair. I just feel like the charges, especially regarding all of them, are bogus. I just feel it's corrupt. I feel the chief meets with the judges and they discuss cases. I don't think it's fair. They were seen having lunch together. The charge that regarding my mom, Rita Acosta, that is totally, it shocked me. Like, my mom called for help. So is this what the community of Salinas looks forward to when they call for help? To being assaulted, to be beaten by batons? I just want to reach out to everybody in Salinas community. If you have been brutally attacked by Salinas police officers, if you've had any situations with Salinas police officers, if you have a mental illness and you want to come to me or one of my other two sisters through the Facebook page, Justice for Jose Velasco, please contact us. We will be your voice. We will help you. We are here for the community, not like Chief McMillan or Mayor. Anybody who says that they're here for the community, they're not, because they don't listen to us. They pick and choose what they want to hear or what they want to say.
You hear the news yesterday, the officers in that video are not going to be charged.
Yeah, I'm outraged. I wish that there would be a riot. People need to speak up. People need to come together. It hurts me that this is what the justice system is.
So, I mean, you know, have you guys, and obviously it's your attorney if you can, you know, have you guys been in communication with John Burris? What's the next step with that?
We
with
have.
the civil?
I won't go into discussion about that. John has already made a statement about that. But I just feel like it's corrupt. And now that it has affected my family, because before you would watch it on the news and see other families affected, and until it affects you, you don't know exactly how the system really works. And I'm getting a fair glimpse of how the system works. It's not fair. My brother's been in jail before, and did it help him? No. Look at June 5th. He had another outburst. Where is it going to get him? Back in jail. Really? Is that helping? It's not helping him. He needs help. He needs mental help. Him being in a cell is not helping. We need to get to the root of the problem, just like for other mental patients. It's not helping being in a cell. They need adequate help.
Was your mother ever questioned by investigators?
The next day, they didn't even know that Jose Velasco was her son. They just came, and before they even started speaking with her, they just showed up to take pictures, and that was it. They didn't get her statement at all. So they didn't know that Jose Velasco was her son until my mother mentioned that Jose Velasco was her son. So it just miscommunication from the police department, I guess.
So it's probably even more frustrating maybe that investigators, at least anybody at the DA's office, didn't get her side of the story before filing at least the assault charge on her.
I agree, because if they're filing an assault charge, why wasn't she treated like a victim then? Why was she left at the scene all by herself if they're taking it that my mom's a victim? Because she never cried that she's a victim. If they're placing those charges, why didn't they do the proper investigation then until the next day? And when they came out, they didn't even know it was her son. So I just believe the charges are bogus charges. Just something to it's easier for them to charge him with something and throw him back in jail and not have to deal with the real issues, because that's going to cost money, obviously. And it's easier just to have him in jail.
They have the weapon.
So the only time your mom was interviewed was after?
The next day.
Never again?
Oh, I take that back, because right after the incident, the only thing they were concerned about is if he's an active gang member. That was their main concern, not if my mom was okay, not any other question, just is he an active gang member? I don't know how that justified what happened or her call for 911, but that was their main concern at the time, was if he was an active gang member. And she was left at the scene to pick herself up and walk home. I don't see any other victim being treated that way as they called her the victim, because she's not a victim. She called for help.
So they never even asked for treatment to see if you were okay?
The next day.
The
the next day when they showed up to take pictures.
And who's they, police or DA's office?
The DA's office, or who showed up to take your picture?
Salinas Police Department.
Salinas Police Department.
Bail, $100,000. You guys gonna try to do what you can to get him out in the next couple of days or weeks or whatnot?
Of course, we're gonna try. It's our brother. We'll stand by him no matter what. He's our family. I don't care what anybody says, what media says. It's our family. If anybody else was in our shoes, they would do the same. People place judgment on us. If ours our family member, we wouldn't be doing that. Really, you have no idea. You can be thinking your daughter, your son, your loved one is going off to school, going off to work. They can have an addiction problem. They can be popping pills. They can be anything. You never know someone's situation until you are in our situation. So it's hard for us as a family because everybody is passing judgment on us. But no matter what, he's our brother and we're gonna stick by him and do anything possible for him.
Do you know when, the last question for me, do you know when the last time Jose got any treatment for his,
The incident happened on June 5th, and the month prior, he was taken to Natividad Medical Center to get his medication. That's it.
anything else?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
So I'm not really sure where it will end up, but we're looking forward to presenting our case.
Okay, can you make a comment about the restriction from the district attorney's office with other charges against police officers and government?
Unfortunately, I can't really get into that, and the reason for that is that has to do with the facts of the case, and we don't want to argue our case or pre-try it in front of the public at this point, because then that keeps Mr. Velasco from getting a fair trial, and it keeps us from getting a fair trial.
So he actually was pointing about a public defender?
Yes.
So there's you want to say about the court hearing this afternoon?
Not really, unless you have any more questions.
Have the charges, bail is in custody.
Yes.
It's going to be a hearing for the motion of bail?
There may be a bail hearing after the public defender has had the opportunity to evaluate the charges. If they think the bail should be higher, obviously. If they think it should be lower, then it's where he puts that at. Then we figure out.
Yeah, actually, or can we do it further in, away from traffic?
Over here?
Oh, let me if I can. Sorry, I don't want to. Felix is just really
Oh, I know. He always makes me look very short.
How do you, look at me, man. I'm wearing flats today too. Okay, now you ready? What's that? All right, now real quick, I'm sorry, I did not catch your name earlier.
Lindsay O'Shea?
Okay, common spelling for both.
I'm sorry?
Common spelling, Lindsay.
E-Y.
E-Y,
Yep.
O'Shea, O''S.
S-H-E-A.
All right, and real quick, $100,000 bail. Are you guys? What was the reasoning behind that amount there?
That's actually the bail schedule. That's the amount. Basically, it's the 245A4 has the highest amount of bail, so you take that number and then you add the enhancements to it. So because he has the strike and the prior prison terms, that upped it.
I mean, and there were quite a few different. We kind of got a glimpse of some of his criminal history. And, at this point in time, I mean, how important, if you can't answer this, is that going to be in the prosecution's case?
Well, the fact that he has the history is something we definitely consider in looking at the facts of the case, and any kind of offer we'll make, that will be taken into account. And just as far as sentencing goes, he has a much higher exposure given his criminal history with the enhancements that are on it.
So now, the next step from here, we've heard 2 different prelims coming up, is that correct?
We have the preliminary hearing calendar call, and that's going to be on the 14th, and basically that's just to make sure that both sides are ready to go to the hearing. Assuming we all are ready to go, the hearing itself will take place on the 16th at 10 o'clock.
And how important has this viral video been in your investigation?
We've taken a long look at it, really broken it down. We've gone over it again with those 2 tactics instructors. We really took our time with it, and it is an important part because, first brush, it does. It very much appears started it. But we have to talk about the entire context of that and present all the evidence that we have. And we're hoping to really show everything that we have.
And aside from that video, do you know, are there, I'm assuming you guys spoke to other witnesses, perhaps looked at other types of surveillance video?
We've looked at everything that we can in making our final decision. I can't really get into any of that, of course, at this point, because I can't have the trial happen.
Can't show your cards.
Exactly. Well, it's not so much about showing the cards. It's that if we argue our case, it deprives both sides of a fair trial.
Coach, got anything?
Lindsay, could you maybe explain a little more in terms of somebody saying they're not a victim, they're a victim, but I guess the law is somebody could claim they're not a victim. I mean, domestic violence cases come to mind, but you can still file charges?
Yes, it's not uncommon for family violence for people to recant their statements or to say things happen differently than they initially say. It's not uncommon for family members to be uncooperative with us, but we have to look at whether or not a crime was committed, and if it is, we have a duty for public safety to press the charges.
Those two things you mentioned, was that either of those in this case?
Again, I can't get into that at this point. Can't argue the facts at this point, but we do expect to have that fleshed out at the preliminary hearing as well.
And then to emphasize that a little more, that I guess it's to protect the victim or potential victim, even if they say they're not a victim. I mean, you have a law. Is that an obligation to file charges when I wasn't a victim?
Well, one thing that we try to do is to look out for the victim, but another obligation that we have is to look out for public safety. And given the facts of this case, we do think that public safety was an issue. We have an obligation to go forward to make sure this sort of thing doesn't happen again.
One more question for me, I guess. There's been some concern that the findings and the charges were released a day after DOJ came to town, and the time is kind of suspect that, oh, why not earlier? Maybe they could have raised the voice or raised some concerns when DOJ were in the day before.
All I can say is that never came up in any discussions that I've had about the case whatsoever. The reason that we have taken our time with this case is because we really wanted to go through it and make sure that the only charges that we brought were the ones that we could prove beyond a reasonable doubt. And we were tasked with investigating the conduct of the officers, so we could in no way go forward with any charges until we knew whether or not we found their performance to be lawful in nature.
The potential sentence with the other stuff?
With his enhancements, off the top.
Well, Janine told me yesterday it
Yeah.
was 5. But I don't know.
5
she
years?
just, yeah, but she just, but I mean, it was, we weren't talking enhancements.
Oh yeah, no, with the
Yeah.
enhancements it's higher. Let's see, it's, do you mind if I do some quick math?
Yeah, go ahead, please. I got another 30 minutes.
Okay.
By all means. I'm not good at math.
You know, I have it written down in my file. Do you mind if I go and check it
No,
real quick?
please.
It's easier than cutting
Yeah.
numbers into thirds in the head.
Right, right.
Thank you.
You guys doing anything good for 4th of July? Well,
The same. See you guys. Are you working a lot?
yeah, but then I gotta,
What's their duty?
I don't know yet, man, but I gotta haul out to Tahoe afterwards. So, I'm like, I gotta leave work at, like, whenever I get off, and I have to go straight.
Would that be like a good day? 4 hours?
5 for the sunset.
Might get traffic.
Oh, I'm gonna get traffic. The part that scares me is going from turning down from trucking to like that country road till you finally get to North Tahoe. That's the part that I'm not looking forward to. Drunk people, wildlife, country road.
Me, the drunk people.
So it's 11 years and 4 months.
11 years, 4 months total?
Yes, that's his max.
Okay.
Okay?
Alright.
And that's with all the enhancements.
Did you ever mention whether there were additional videos that had been turned on, but that, turned over, but not out there?
The video that we have is the initial one that was played. There's also just on the internet.
Something with a bag over his head or something like that.
Oh,
But
that's
nothing-
a spit sock, yes.
Oh, okay.
That one, yes, there is one that shows the end part of it as well. That's on the internet.
And did you mention who the experts that were used for the
Tactical.
you said that there were some experts that took a look at
Tactical instructors.
yeah the
maybe?
tactical
Yeah, defensive tactics instructors. So they took a look at it and went through it too. So.
Are they local? Are they with the county? Are they private?
They're local.
They're local.
They're not with the Salinas PD though.
So now, okay, so they do their own private contracting. Have they ever?
Not private contracting. They actually teach.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
So have they? Do they have a ongoing running contract with, say, Monterey County or with the?
You know, actually, I
You're not
don't
sure?
have that information. I'm the trial attorney, so.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk to ADA Janine Paccioni, she'll probably have that information. Can give you a little bit more on what the expert's background actually is.
Okay.
Okay.
And what about how the officers were cleared of any wrongdoing? I mean, I heard before that the training is only into hitting batons to the legs. So anywhere else on the body?
Again, at the preliminary hearing, we anticipate all that coming in, but until it's a matter of public record, I can't really go over the facts of the investigation or argue or anything like that.
Isn't okay? So somebody had to clear those charges, though, right? Because
Yes.
it was printed in the papers. So is that person available to speak with?
Unfortunately, it was a decision made by the district attorney's office, and because we're handling the prosecution,
Right.
we can't comment on it at this time. But again, the preliminary hearing is currently scheduled for July 16th. So after that hearing takes place and these matters are part of public record, we will be free to talk about those.
Okay.
Okay?
So that will be after when? The 14th? Did you say?
16th.
After the 16th.
After the 16th, it'll become a part of the public record.
Yes.
With all the charges. and
Only
everything?
if it's
If
submitted.
it actually
and-
goes.
Yeah,
So,
it could be
but I
continued
do
or-
anticipate that it will come in, that evidence, because the 148B, you need to show that they acted with reasonable force. It needs to be lawful performance of their duties. So it will be a viable defense strategy to prove that maybe they weren't. So that would be the defense. So I do anticipate that all the evidence will be presented at that time, and then we'll be free to talk.
How does the mental capacity come into it with, for example, the terrorism charges and the enhancement?
Those are all things that have happened in his past. Those are convictions that already took place.
So the enhancements due to the prior convictions.
Yeah,
correct?
this is all due to his criminal history, those enhancements, yes.
How does the mental capacity from that particular day fall into now with the more or less?
Okay, it's a general intent crime. The 245A4, that means that voluntary intoxication and mental illness are not defenses to this crime.
It was the defense attorney.
Okay?
said I entered.
That's not to say, like, you can't plead not guilty by reason of insanity or something like that. It's just not a defense. It doesn't negate the intent required.
So it was not guilty, right?
The plea? Yes,
Yes.
not guilty.
Okay, on all three.
On all three.
It wasn't like okay.
Yeah. And the allegations are denied.
Right, and the bail set at 100,000.
Exactly.
And the three actual charges, I couldn't record it during the. I turned in my.
No
paperwork
problem.
too late.
It's assault with force likely to commit great bodily injury. It is when an officer is performing his lawful duties, taking a taser from his person. And then the final one is a 243B, and that's an assault. It's a battery, and it's on a firefighter. And that's a misdemeanor.
Okay. And that was when he was in the ambulance, I think.
Yes.
Okay. Although they sedated him.
Well,
Okay.
where does the terrorism charge fall in within those three? The terrorism,
It's a previous.
the previous
Yes. The street terrorism was his
was the previous
2012 strike conviction.
conviction.
Yes.
Gotcha there. Okay. All
Lindsay,
right.
when was the mom questioned at any time during your office or your office investigators?
You mean as we were doing this? Yeah. We went over some of her previous statements, and we were paying attention to what she was saying to the media for sure. We were looking at her statements.
But you never asked her directly. You never had an appointment to talk to her directly.
No, we did not.
So that was just relying on police reports, what she told police.
It was
And what
recorded
was-
statements and what she was currently telling the media.
And what was out in the
Okay,
media?
what's currently on the media is only about a soundbite, maybe not the entire
No, but
interview.
that doesn't matter. Take a look at that.
Okay.
Are
Thank
you
you.
going to be asking for bail increase?
No, not at this juncture. No problem.
Thank you,
Thank you
Lindsay.
very much.
Thank you
Appreciate
so
it.
much.
No problem.